Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting married at Madison Square Garden, A24, Martin Scorsese, the NBA draft, and Meta all making big power moves this week. Welcome back to the iconic Edit, your go-to spot for all things sports, media, and culture. Today, I am joined by Jaephy. Welcome, Jaephy.
Good to be back. I'm going to be taking over some of the edits today in place of Kyra, and then our intern Giana is going to be doing our deep dive today.
My first edit is in media. Mark Zuckerberg and Meta are diving into the prediction space with Arena. Now, this is a plot twist we did not see coming because this is a market that was typically very niche, and it is a $130 billion industry that Meta is diving into and is currently being dominated by powerhouses such as Polymarket and Kelce. What on earth is going on here, Jaephy? What do you think?
I think this is huge, and I think it's really interesting because it's not only going to get people to be more involved with sports, but really just anything in the live entertainment space, because some of these betting platforms, it's not just on sports teams. You can bet on whether a celebrity is going to make an appearance at the event or something like that. There's a whole lot of opportunities for people to become involved with their favorite live entertainment now.
Yes, I completely agree. And also I was reading that apparently you can bet on additional things outside of live entertainment, things that we wouldn't even think about, like is the Fed going to be raising interest rates or not? And I just think this is explosive. It's really expanding on an already hot market and big niche in a way that was completely unexpected. So now the prediction market apparently is going mainstream. My next edit is in sports. The NBA draft apparently just shook the league to its core with completely wrong mock drafts and trade rumors. Not a single top 15 trade was picked, proving the draft class was just this good. Front offices value cheap, elite rookie contracts over bloated veteran trades right now. So what? We are in for a big league shakeup where we are kind of saying goodbye to some of the traditional expected trades and moving into almost a new era with new talent coming in and dominating. So if you're a brand, you want to be working with these rookies now before they blow up. So this is quite the trend that we are seeing across sports and all things media and film, where young talent is rising and rising quickly. Jaephy, what do you have for us on this topic?
My first edit is going to be in culture. The Disney live-action Moana movie releases July 10th, and audiences were not exactly impressed by the casting decisions. Fans went online to share their interest with the relatively unknown actor Setaleki Manu, apologize if I butchered that, who I think is pretty obvious resembles the character Maui a lot more than Dwayne Johnson does, and he's going to be reprising the role from the animated film. This isn't exactly a news story, but I think it's very telling about where audiences are at. Similar to Kimberly's story about the sports, people are looking for new talent. One commenter online even said, quote, "This would actually make me go see it. I want to see some new faces I don't know." So the so what is that star power isn't really what it used to be in the movie world, at least. And celebrities, people don't really want to see them in their movies anymore. They're going online to explicitly say, I don't want to see these actors in my movie anymore. And to drive that point home, Dwayne Johnson starred in the movie The Smashing Machine in 2025, and that ended up being a total flop at the box office. And we talked about Obsession a little while ago and the success of that movie, and I don't think there was a single celebrity actor in the cast.
Wow. Yeah, this is absolutely a new era of film, media, entertainment, and obviously sports, as we discussed, because it's almost feeling like fame has become completely decentralized versus kind of the old traditional Hollywood empire. Big studio, you might have your top 10, maybe 20 A-list celebrities dominating everything media, and now audiences are asking for new, young, fresh talent. So it's quite different than we've traditionally seen. And for those of you out there that are young creators, regardless of the platform or type of content that you produce, I think this is very hopeful, and it's showing you that there is plenty of opportunity for new talent and new creators. My next edit is in culture. Now, we would be remiss if we did not talk about Taylor Swift and the rumored wedding happening to Travis Kelce at Madison Square Garden. I'm not sure if this is a rumor yet, and we are going to find out because they're set to get married quite soon. Now, some indicators, new permits have been issued, which are raising additional speculation. The requests include capacity for up to 999 people and for tents and street closures near Madison Square Garden. Anonymous sources say his teammates have room blocks nearby. So what for us? Is this pop culture's greatest decoy or PR stunt of all time? Or are we really going to see them get married at Madison Square Garden? Let us know in the comments what you think. Now, Jaephy, if you were in the prediction market, where would you place your bets on this rumor?
Yeah, that was exactly where I was going with this. This is totally something you could bet on in the prediction market. I would probably say, since I don't know too much about Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce, it really sounds like, from all what you're saying, it sounds like that's what's going to happen. So we'll see.
And I will also say that this could be a giant PR stunt, or maybe it's a part of their wedding. Who knows? But this could certainly start a new celebrity marriage trend. And I am on the edge of my seat waiting to find out what happens.
My next edit is in media. Is Hollywood embracing generative AI? Martin Scorsese is backing the new AI company Black Forest Labs as an advisor. He's specifically interested in generative AI for storyboarding and not just typing out a prompt and generating a whole movie that way. He says, quote, "Remember, cinema is a young medium, only around 125 years old, so we have to be open to how it can evolve." Also, Doug Liman is directing a controversial film called Bitcoin, which is using an extensive amount of generative AI, not only for the backgrounds and locations, but potentially even for performance reshoots and enhancing an actor's appearance to more closely resemble the real-world person they're portraying in the film. So what? Since the introduction of generative AI, people have been wondering, is this something that Hollywood is going to latch onto, or are people going to completely reject this? And that's something I'm going to talk about in my last edit. And I personally think that Doug Liman's film, the fact that it uses so much generative AI, could be the turning point in this whole conversation. That's going to really show if people are going to embrace this or reject it.
And I will say, I think it is a very interesting power move to assign or invite Martin Scorsese, an industry titan, to be an advisor for the company. To me, Black Forest Labs is definitely making very strategic moves to kind of socialize and warm up people to the idea by essentially getting social proof from an industry giant such as Martin Scorsese to sign off on this. I think it's definitely going to be an evolving trend to have AI. And right now it feels like everybody's just kind of gently dipping their toe and seeing what boundaries they can push without having too much backlash. And to me, this is going to feel like a slow evolution until it's not, and then it's going to explode. So my prediction trend on this is, before we know it, we're going to have AI movies that simply have the disclaimer that it's an AI generated movie. And there's going to be a lot more studios and individual creators developing this type of long form content, because the cost reduction makes it so much more accessible to produce movies now more than ever.
My last edit is in culture. Google DeepMind invests $75 million into A24, the art house film production and distribution company, for research and development. And as far as we know, this isn't a contract for content creation or production in any way. So there's not going to be any official AI trained on A24 IP or any of their movies or content. This is very similar to Black Forest Labs' deal with Martin Scorsese, in that they're not using it to generate the full movie by itself, but they're figuring out the tools to help filmmakers get to the final product. The so what is similar to my other edit, in that the turning point with AI and art is right around the corner, and these companies, like to your point, are really tiptoeing and seeing what they can get away with. Because if you look at any of A24 or Google's statements about the matter, they're very carefully wording everything they say to make sure that audiences are aware that they're not using the AI to generate the movie itself, just the tools for the filmmakers to get there.
Yeah. So again, we're seeing hints of how can we reduce our costs from the production standpoint, from, when you think through all the workflow capabilities and all the things that need to happen in terms of maximizing efficiency through AI tools and therefore increasing profits without alienating and upsetting your audience.
All right, so we're going to have our intern Giana take over the deep dive today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Giana, the intern, and I'm going to take you through our deep dive today with Levi's and Gen Z marketing at the World Cup. Some of you may be following the World Cup or be seeing bits of it on social media. If you have been, you have seen the whole Levi scandal and how they have taken their cover logo at the World Cup to their advantage. At Levi's Stadium, the World Cup enforced a rule that companies not paying for their branding would not be allowed to show their logo at the stadium. This is crazy for Levi's because in San Francisco, they have Levi's Stadium, which we all know from the 49ers. But for the World Cup, they temporarily changed the name of Levi's Stadium to San Francisco Bay Area Arena, taking Levi's out of the stadium completely and covering their logo outside and inside the stadium. Levi's was able to take this and turn it into a media campaign, sending social medias like Instagram and TikTok into a whirlwind about how Levi's turned this into one of their best campaigns yet. Levi's changed all of their profile pictures to the tarp-covered logo that fans have been seeing and posting on social media outside Levi's Stadium, and ultimately reached a whole new audience of Gen Z people on TikTok and Instagram talking about this and even reposting their posts about their logo and the free marketing scandal that people are relating to ambush marketing.
Well, to me, this is one of the most entertaining pieces of media and backlash combined that's gone viral, completely pivoting what the original thought process was from World Cup. I think it's really interesting that the World Cup was truly trying to almost corner these bigger stadiums into bigger brand deals, into paying up more. And when those negotiations obviously did not come to fruition, they are strong arming the different stadiums into what they were hoping that would be the case, which is more ad dollars into the World Cup's pocket to participate. However, the fact that it is a backlash and that, Levi Stadium covered up their logo and their sign and it went viral is, to me, it's hilarious. It's the biggest media and marketing ploy gone wrong. And it's just a big slap in the face to the World Cup. So I'm here for it. I think it's entertaining. And I think it's good that there's strong pushback against whatever the plot was to get more money.
I think the best part is that not only did Levi's not pay the World Cup for their marketing, they have seen an increase in sales from this as people have been taking Levi's and seeing it everywhere. And ultimately, so many people my age and Gen Z have been running with this trend and this post, and it being on TikTok is honestly better marketing for them than having it on the World Cup stadium where millions of people are seeing this ad and running with it and honestly loving it and not loving the World Cup for what they're doing with their advertising.
This is probably one of the most notable and iconic backlashes in media and sports we have seen in a long time. So thank you so much for such a good deep dive, Giana. Everyone, give Giana some love in the comments. She did amazing and you're a great intern.
Thank you.
So for the final cut, next week, we're keeping an eye on these developing stories. The Hong Kong Book Fair and Sports and Leisure Expo is happening in early July and has become Asia's premier summer playground for identifying how traditional heritage and digital creator culture are merging to capture the massive Gen Z Eastern market.
In New York, Lincoln Center is launching their highly anticipated summer series. This is their outdoor summer series called the Immersive Silent Disco Ballet, and we are very excited to see what this holds and what the people of New York are doing with it.
Summer NASCAR at Chicagoland on July 3rd. So right ahead of the July 4th holiday, NASCAR is launching its highly anticipated summer weekend at Chicagoland Speedway. Also, the World Cup is still underway, so definitely checking that out and watching who continues on. And keep your eyes peeled for all things Wimbledon. And with that, be sure to stay informed,
stay influential, and stay iconic.
That's your iconic edit for today. For premium insights, exclusive invites, and behind-the-scenes access to everything we're building, join our newsletter at iconicnationmedia.com. Follow us on social at Iconic Nation Media. And if you loved this episode, please rate, review, and drop us a comment on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. We appreciate you being a part of the Iconic community.